She won't say it, but she'll show it. Let me tell you something most men never learn. When a woman finds you attractive, she doesn't always say it. She doesn't walk up to you and confess it out loud. She won't text you, "Hey, I like you," because that's not how attraction works for most women. Instead, she shows it. But not in big, dramatic ways. She shows it in the little things. The things most men ignore. She'll glance at you when she thinks you're not looking. She'll stay in a conversation longer than she needs to. She'll laugh a little harder at your joke, even if it wasn't that funny. She'll stand closer to you than she does with others, and she'll speak softer when she says your name. Her body, her eyes, her energy, they speak before her words ever will. But if you're not paying attention, if you're too busy chasing, trying to impress, or doubting yourself, you won't see it. You'll walk right past something real. You'll miss a moment that could have changed everything. See, attraction from a woman is often quiet, not because she's unsure, but because she's watching. She's feeling. She's testing the space between you, not to play games, but to stay safe. She doesn't want to chase. She wants to be felt. She wants you to notice her effort without her having to explain it. That's how real feminine attraction works. It invites. It doesn't demand. And here's the shift. When you understand this, you stop trying so hard. You stop chasing women who aren't into you and start recognizing the ones who are. You move with calm confidence, not confusion. Because once you see the signs, once you feel the energy shift, you'll never be the guy asking, "Was she into me?" Again, you'll know. And knowing that changes everything. So let's break it down. 10 signs she finds you attractive. Not loud, not obvious, but clear, if you're paying attention. 1. Her eyes stay longer than they should. When a woman is attracted to you, her eyes start doing things she doesn't even realize. It's not just a glance, it's a moment, a pause, a silent message. She sees you, looks away, then looks back again. And when she does, it's different. She isn't just checking the room, she's checking you. Her gaze lingers, not in a rude or awkward way, but in a way that says, "I'm drawn to you, and I don't even know why." Most men don't catch it. They're too focused on the conversation or thinking about what to say next. But her eyes are already speaking. And if she's looking at your face while you talk, then her eyes flick to your lips. That's not just listening. That's imagining. That's her picturing what it would be like to be closer to you, even if she wouldn't admit it out loud. She's not staring for no reason. There's interest behind those eyes. It's not a look for attention. It's a look of intention, a quiet signal that says, "I notice you. I want you to notice me too." And if she holds your gaze a second longer than most people do, that second means more than words ever could. 2. Her energy changes when you walk in. Attraction has a way of changing the air in the room, and you can feel it if you're paying close enough attention. She might have been completely at ease, just going about her day, until you walked in. And suddenly, something shifts. She adjusts her posture, touches her hair, straightens her clothes. It's automatic, not forced. Her body reacts before her mind even catches up. Her voice might soften, or it might get a little higher with excitement. She could start talking more, or get suddenly quiet. That change, that's her energy making space for you. Not because she's trying to impress you, but because something about you pulled her in. Attraction doesn't always look like a big move. Sometimes it's the smallest things. The way she sits up straighter, the way her breath catches for a second, the way her eyes light up even if her words stay the same. Her vibe changes, and you'll feel it. like something in the room became warmer, more alive. She may pretend she doesn't notice you, but her body already did. And if you're calm enough to stay still, to watch, to feel, you'll know the moment she did too. 3. She mirrors you without thinking. Mirroring is one of the quietest, most honest signs of attraction, and most people miss it. It's not dramatic, it's not loud, it's subtle, but it's real. When a woman is drawn to you, her body starts to sync with yours without her even realizing it. You cross your arms, and a few seconds later, so does she. You tilt your head, and suddenly, hers shifts in the same direction. You take a sip of your drink, and she lifts hers too. Not to copy, but because something in her feels in tune with you. This isn't manipulation. This is connection. It's instinct. It's her body saying, I feel safe near you. I feel aligned with you. Even if she hasn't put those feelings into words, she might even start using your phrases, repeating your style of talking, laughing the same way you do, or finishing your sentences with your rhythm. Not because she's trying to impress you, but because she's absorbing your energy. Her subconscious is reaching out, matching your vibe, your pace, your presence. Because when a woman feels close to someone, she mirrors not just movements, she mirrors emotions. And if you're paying attention, it's one of the most beautiful signs she's already imagining what it feels like to be closer. 4. She finds small reasons to touch you. Touch is one of the most subtle, powerful, and emotionally revealing ways a woman can express attraction, especially when words feel too vulnerable or too soon. And when a woman finds you genuinely attractive, she may not say it out loud, but her body often speaks first, and it usually speaks through her hands. She's not going to grab your hand out of nowhere. She won't wrap her arms around you for no reason, not yet. Instead, what you'll notice, if you're paying attention, are little moments. Moments that seem casual, almost accidental, but aren't. Maybe she touches your arm while laughing at a joke. Maybe she accidentally brushes past you, even though there was plenty of space. Maybe her hand lightly rests on your back as she walks behind you. Maybe she leans in to show you something on her phone and stays just a little too close, her shoulder grazing yours. Or maybe she flicks invisible lint off your shirt, straightens your hoodie, adjusts your collar, doing something for you that really didn't need doing. These are not random habits. They are quiet experiments. They're her way of testing something deeper, like checking if the spark she feels is real and if you'll feel it too. Touch is intimate, even when it's brief. It crosses the invisible line between just talking and something more. And that's why women don't take it lightly, because it's bold, it's risky. She knows you could pull away, you could ignore it, you could freeze. So when she still goes for it, even in the smallest way, that's a sign, a clear one. What she's doing, without saying it directly, is inviting closeness. Not just physically, but emotionally. She's seeing if you'll notice. She's seeing if you'll meet her in that moment, or miss it. And what's even more telling than the touch itself is how she acts right after. Does she glance down quickly, like she got caught doing something she wasn't sure she had permission to do? Does she shift her eyes, smile, and play it off like it meant nothing? Or does she pause, just for a second, to see how you react? That little pause, that second too long her hand stays on your arm, that's not by accident. That's her daring you to feel what she's already feeling. It's not about the action, it's about the intention behind it. In those small touches, she's saying, I want to be close to you. I feel safe with you. I'm drawn to you, and I don't know how to say it. But maybe you'll understand this. And if she does it again and again, if she keeps finding reasons to close the space between your bodies, even if she never says the words, that's her making a choice. Not every woman expresses attraction through flirtation or direct statements. Some do it through presence, others through touch. Because touch builds chemistry, it builds trust, it builds something soft and electric between two people, even before they admit what's really happening. And here's something most men never realize. Women don't touch what they don't want to feel. They don't keep reaching out unless there's something pulling them closer. So if she's initiating touch, no matter how small, don't brush it off. Don't assume she's just being nice. Nice is a smile. Nice is a compliment. Touch? Touch is personal. Touch is risk. Touch is a message. I want to feel you. I want you to feel me. And I want to know if this feeling between us is real. So pay attention to those little moments, because they might not look like much, but in her world, they mean everything. 5. She asks about your past, not just your present. When a woman is genuinely attracted to you, not just to your appearance, or your confidence, or your conversation, but to you as a person, something subtle but powerful starts to happen. Her curiosity shifts. She stops being satisfied with surface-level details. The usual talk about your favorite food, your weekend plans, or what you do for a living. Those are easy questions, safe ones. But when she starts to feel something deeper, she begins to reach into the part of you that existed long before she walked into your life. She might start with simple questions like, where did you grow up? What were you like in school? What did you want to be when you were little? But those questions carry more weight than they seem to on the surface. They're not just for fun, they're for context. She's not just asking where you were. She's trying to understand how you became who you are. She wants to know what shaped you, the values you picked up as a kid, the moments that made you stronger, the people who hurt you, the ones who believed in you, the quiet heartbreaks that nobody else even noticed. Because to her, attraction isn't just in the now, it's in the why. Why you see the world the way you do, why you act the way you act, why you carry strength in some places and hesitation in others. She's not collecting facts, she's collecting pieces. Pieces of your story, pieces of your pain, pieces of your truth that don't get shared in casual conversation. And here's the part that most men don't notice. When a woman is attracted to your past, she's not just interested in what's happened to you. She's wondering what it might feel like to be part of what happens next. She might ask about your toughest year, about what scared you as a kid, about whether you had to grow up too fast. And if she asks these things softly with genuine care, that's not nosiness. That's emotional courage. That's her wanting to understand you in a way that most people never take the time to. And when you open up, even a little, she listens. You'll notice she remembers things that didn't seem important when you said them. Maybe you mentioned your childhood dog in passing, or the name of your first teacher who changed your life. Maybe you shared a random detail, like your favorite cereal growing up, or the way your mom used to make tea just right. And weeks later, she brings it up, not to impress you, not to use it as leverage, but because it stuck with her. Because when something matters to you, it starts to matter to her. That's not flirting, that's connection. When a woman makes room in her memory for your past, she's making space in her heart for your future. She's not attracted to your status or your charm or how smooth your words are. She's attracted to your layers. She wants to know the man behind the mask. And once she finds him, she doesn't want to let him go. And she's asking herself a quiet question, one you may never hear out loud. Is there room for me in his story? Would my presence fit alongside his path, his pain, his growth? That's how emotional intimacy begins, not with some dramatic declaration, but with little questions that mean everything, with curiosity that's gentle, patient, and deeply sincere. So when she asks about who you were, before your confidence, before your career, before you learn to wear the armor you wear now, she's not trying to dig. She's trying to understand, to connect, to feel something real. That's not just interest, that's investment. And that's the kind of attraction that doesn't fade after a date or a conversation. It lingers, it deepens, it builds. Because she's not looking for someone to entertain her. She's looking for someone she can understand. And more importantly, someone who's willing to let her be understood too. When you find a woman like that, a woman who wants to know your roots so she can walk with you in your future, that's not casual. That's rare. That's real. 6. She laughs. Even when you're not that funny, laughter is one of the most beautiful forms of connection and one of the most misunderstood. Most people think it's just about humor. You say something funny, someone laughs. Simple. But when a woman is truly attracted to you, her laughter becomes something far deeper than a response to a joke. It becomes a mirror, reflecting not just what she heard, but how you made her feel. It's not about your punchline, it's about your presence. You might say something offhand, something dry or sarcastic, or even random, and suddenly she bursts into laughter. Not the kind of tight, forced laugh people give out of politeness. Not the "I'm just being nice" chuckle, but the real kind. The kind that starts in the chest, rises up into the eyes and fills the air with something soft and alive. The kind of laugh that seems to brighten the whole room, and you don't even know why. And that's the point. She's not laughing at your words. She's laughing at your energy. She's laughing because you made her feel light. You made her feel safe. You made her feel seen, without her having to perform or prove anything. And in that feeling, joy flows naturally, because joy is effortless around someone you're attracted to. Joy is reflexive. It rises when the heart feels comfortable. And when she gives you that kind of laughter, it's her way of telling you, I like how I feel around you. I like who I become when I'm with you. Watch her closely when she laughs. Does she lean in just a little closer? Does her hand lightly touch your arm or shoulder? Do her eyes lock onto yours mid-laugh, as if you're the only one in the room worth sharing that joy with? That's not just chemistry. That's comfort. That's vulnerability. That's her guard dropping without even realizing it, because when a woman feels emotionally safe, her laughter comes easier. She lets it out freely, not to impress you, but because she doesn't have to impress you. She just gets to be. She'll start laughing at things no one else reacts to, your quirky phrases, your offbeat timing, your subtle facial expressions, or inside jokes you haven't even explained yet. Because she's not laughing at what you said. She's laughing at how it came from you. She's enjoying you. She might even laugh before you finish a sentence. Because anticipation makes her giddy. Because the way you speak already makes her feel better before the sentence is over. She might replay what you said in her head and laugh to herself later. Because your presence doesn't just make her smile in the moment, it lingers. And here's something many men overlook. Laughter is vulnerable. It's a release. It opens her up emotionally. It says, I trust you enough to let my guard down. Women don't laugh like that around men they don't feel safe with. They don't share that side of themselves. the silly, goofy, radiant side, with someone who feels like a threat or a task or a transaction. They reserve that kind of laughter for someone who gives them permission to relax. So when she laughs, really laughs, and the moment fills with warmth, don't brush it off as casual. Don't assume she's just being nice. Look at her. Really look. Her laughter is saying, "You didn't just entertain me, you reached me. You reminded me what joy feels like." And that kind of moment is never random. It's real. It's rare. It's a clear, powerful sign that you matter. Because long after conversations fade and compliments blur, what people remember most is who made them feel good to be themselves. And when a woman gives you her laughter, she's giving you her light. That's not a joke. That's a gift. 7. She stays when she doesn't have to. When a woman feels genuinely drawn to you, something in her behavior begins to shift. Slowly, quietly, and without a word. She doesn't always smile bigger. She doesn't always flirt louder. Instead, she simply stays. Not because she has nowhere else to be, not because she's being polite, but because something about your presence makes time feel different. It softens, it slows, it stretches in ways that tell her there's something here worth lingering for. You might notice it at the end of a conversation. You both laughed, talked, maybe even said goodbye in some way, but she doesn't leave. She's still standing there, shifting her weight, tucking her hair behind her ear, saying, "Yeah," as if that one word is holding the moment together just a little longer. And it's not random, it's intentional. Look around. Her friends might have already walked off. Her phone might have buzzed 3 times, and she still hasn't checked it. She might have mentioned having to be somewhere, but she's not moving. That's not forgetfulness. That's deliberate hesitation. She's choosing the energy between you over whatever was supposed to come next. Because whatever she's feeling in that moment with you, it's worth staying in. Even if it's quiet. Even if there's nothing more to say. The silence between you doesn't feel awkward to her. It feels safe. It feels alive. And most importantly, it feels rare. When a woman is attracted to you, her time becomes her love language. Not the kind she talks about, the kind she gives without needing to explain it. And here's what most men don't realize. Time is a currency, the most precious one. And when she chooses to spend it on you, especially when she could have left, should have left, or was supposed to leave, that's not just interest, that's investment. She's mentally leaning in, emotionally opening a door, wondering if you feel the same thing she does. That the moment between you is worth holding on to just a little longer. She might ask one more question, even if it doesn't really matter. She might bring up something random just to keep the air between you warm. She might say, "I should get going," but she won't move, or she'll take a step, then turn back. She's not looking for a reason to leave. She's searching, silently, for a reason to stay. And in that hesitation, that pause between parting and presence, she's offering you the chance to meet her halfway, not with a pickup line, not with a dramatic gesture, but with your energy, your eye contact, your willingness to say, "I feel this too." When a woman keeps giving you time, moment after moment, she's not just being friendly. She's wondering if this is the beginning of something real. Because time is sacred. She can't get it back. And women don't hand over their attention, their comfort, and their presence to just anyone. They give it to the man who makes them feel seen, heard, safe. So if she's standing near you when she could have walked away, if she keeps stretching the goodbye until it starts to feel like its own little world, know that it's not because she's unsure, it's because she's hoping. hoping you'll say the one thing that makes it all feel worth it, hoping that you'll notice what she's saying with her staying, not her speaking, hoping that maybe you're feeling the same pull she is. And the longer she stays, the louder her silence becomes, not in a desperate way, but in an honest way, the kind of honesty that doesn't rush love. It opens the door for it. So if you ever feel her lingering, if she's near you longer than she needs to be, if the conversation ended but her presence didn't, know this. That moment is her heart whispering, I don't want this to be over. Because maybe you're the moment I wasn't expecting, but hoped to find. 8. She gets nervous around you. Attraction doesn't always arrive in a neat package. It doesn't always come dressed in smooth conversation, steady eye contact, or a perfectly timed smile. In fact, when a woman feels genuinely drawn to you, when the connection hits her somewhere deeper than just surface-level curiosity, it often shows up as nervousness, software subtle, and completely unplanned. She's not trying to impress. She's trying to stay balanced in a moment where her emotions are quietly spinning. You might see her drop her phone or her pen or fumble with her bag strap. She'll laugh it off, maybe say, "Oops," and act like it's no big deal. But in truth, it happened because you were there, because your presence made her hyper-aware of herself, her movements, her tone, her body language. And then there are the fidgets. She tugs at the edge of her sleeve, twists her ring, touches her neck, tucks her hair behind her ear, even though it's already in place. These aren't random behaviors. They're coping mechanisms. Her body's attempt to stay grounded while her heart races ahead. Attraction doesn't always feel smooth. It often feels like tension, the good kind. The kind that sits in the chest and says, something about this moment matters. You might notice she goes quiet all of a sudden, like her brain lost track of the script it was following. You might hear her say something and then immediately walk it back, as if she's not sure how it came out. Or she might start a sentence, pause halfway, and forget what she was saying. Not because she's scattered, but because you made her forget everything else. That's not lack of confidence. That's what emotional impact looks like in real time. Her nervous energy is her heart stepping out ahead of her logic. It's her feelings trying to find their footing because she wasn't prepared to feel this much, this fast. And here's the part most men completely miss. They see her stumbling or overthinking and assume she's not into them. But the truth is, a woman doesn't get nervous around someone who doesn't matter. She doesn't worry about being perfect in front of a guy she doesn't care about. She doesn't second-guess her tone or her hair or her laugh when she's standing next to someone she feels nothing for. Nervousness only shows up when the moment is real, when her emotions are involved, when she feels like you are worth impressing, not to earn you, but because your presence already means something. You might notice her laugh comes quicker than it should, or her voice softens slightly when she says your name. Maybe she starts talking with her hands more, or her eyes blink just a little faster. These are signs, not flaws, not awkwardness, but signs of something genuine unfolding. And if you look closely, you'll see the check. That quick look in your direction right after she fumbles a word, or laughs too hard, or does something she didn't mean to. She's not just glancing, she's checking, to see if you noticed, to see if you're judging her, or smiling gently, to see if it's safe to keep being real, or if she needs to pull her guard back up. That reaction, yours, will either make her feel more alive, or shut her down. So when you notice it, the slightly clumsy, slightly anxious, slightly flustered version of her, don't mock it, don't overlook it, appreciate it. Because in a world where everyone's trying to be cool, calm, and in control, her nervousness is one of the most honest things you'll ever see. It's her body revealing what her words won't say. You're affecting me more than I plan to admit. And the truth is, you don't make someone nervous unless you matter. That jittery energy, that stumble in her voice, that flush in her cheeks when you look at her, it's not weakness, it's impact. It means you've already slipped past her filters. You've already taken up space in her thoughts. And maybe, just maybe, you've already touched something in her heart she wasn't expecting anyone to reach. So when a woman shows you that nervous, unpolished side, don't miss it. She's not just attracted, she's undone. And in that unraveling is the beginning of something real. 9. She tries to look her best when you're around. Attraction isn't always shown through words, grand gestures, or dramatic moves. Sometimes it reveals itself through quiet, thoughtful choices, the kind that are easy to overlook unless you really pay attention. And one of the clearest signs that a woman is into you is this. She starts to show up differently, not in an obvious, attention-seeking way, but with intention. One day she's casual, relaxed, natural, unbothered. But the next time you see her, something has changed. Her outfit is just a little more put together. Her makeup is subtle but polished. Her hair has been styled with purpose, maybe not for the world, but for someone. And that someone is you. This change isn't random. It's not because she suddenly felt like dressing up. It's because she knew she might see you, and she wanted to feel her best around you. She might apply perfume, not something overpowering, but something soft and specific. A scent that lingers, a scent you'd remember. The kind of scent that makes you pause and think about her even after she's walked away. You might notice her checking her reflection before walking into the room, or subtly adjusting her outfit when she sees you. You might catch her putting on lip balm just as you arrive, even though she didn't need it. These aren't habits. These are cues, delicate, intentional signals. Because when a woman finds you attractive, she doesn't just want to be seen. She wants to be noticed. She wants to feel radiant in your presence. And even if she doesn't say it out loud, her body, her effort, her energy are all saying the same thing. You matter enough for me to try. She doesn't do it for the compliments. She's not begging for validation. She's creating a feeling, both for herself and for you. A feeling of confidence, a feeling of possibility, a feeling of chemistry. She's not showing off for the world. She's fine if no one else notices. But she wants you to. She wants to walk by and catch your eyes. She wants to know if she still lingers in your mind after the moment passes. She might straighten her back when you enter the room. Her posture lifts. Her smile appears a little faster, a little more brightly. She's more animated when she speaks. Her voice gets a touch softer, not because she's performing, but because she's attuned to you. She watches your reaction carefully. She notices if you pause when you see her. She sees whether your eyes follow her for just a second longer. Even if she pretends not to, trust this. She sees everything. That new lipstick, that unexpected dress, that hairstyle she doesn't wear often. None of it is random. She made those choices while thinking of you. She asked herself questions she won't ask out loud. Would he notice this? Would this color catch his eye? Would he like me in this? And when she walks in looking like the best version of herself, don't think it's just for herself. It's because she hopes, even quietly, that when you look at her, something in you feels it. That effort she puts in, whether it's big or small, is her way of saying, your presence affects me. Your opinion matters. You make me want to be more of who I am. So when you notice those subtle changes, when her appearance shifts only around you, don't write it off. Don't treat it like coincidence, because women don't dress to impress everyone. They dress with someone specific in mind. And if that someone is you, it means she's already invested more than you think. Because she's not just trying to look good, she's trying to be remembered, to leave a mark, to be the thought that lingers long after the moment ends. So no, she's not just walking into the room. She's walking into your awareness, hoping silently that she's already taken root there. And if she has, let her feel it. Because she didn't choose that dress, that smile, that scent by accident. She chose it hoping that you'd choose to notice. 10th, her goodbye feels like a question. Goodbyes usually feel simple. A wave, a smile, maybe a hug, a few polite words to close the moment. But when a woman is truly attracted to you, her goodbye changes. It stops being an ending, and it starts feeling like a question she's too afraid to ask out loud. It becomes heavy, not in a dramatic way, but in the weight of what wasn't said. It's filled with hesitation, softness, and a silent wish for something more. You can feel it in the air if you're paying attention. Because when her heart is involved, she doesn't walk away the same, and neither does the moment. Watch closely when she leaves. Not just if she says goodbye, but how. Does she say it slowly, dragging out the words like she's trying to buy more time? Does she linger after the conversation ends, standing there like she's waiting for something that never quite comes? Does she throw in a last-minute, out-of-nowhere comment? Something like, "Oh, I forgot to say," or "one more thing," just to keep the moment alive for a few seconds longer? That's not her being scattered. That's not her being forgetful. That's hope. Hope that you felt something too. Hope that the moment meant as much to you as it did to her. Hope that you'll give her a reason to stay, even if it's just with your eyes, your body language, your presence. A woman who's into you won't always say, "I don't want to go." She might not be bold enough to confess it, especially if the connection is still new. But her body, her pacing, her voice, her movements will speak for her. You'll notice her steps slow down. She'll turn away, then glance back. She'll pause at the door, take a breath, and wait for something more to happen. She may shift her weight from foot to foot, like she's not sure if she should leave or stay. And that uncertainty, that hesitation, that's not confusion. It's vulnerability. Because leaving you doesn't just mean saying goodbye to your physical presence. It means letting go of a feeling, the connection, the energy, the possibility. And here's where most men make the mistake. They think she's just being polite. They assume the moment is over and walk away too quickly. But if you slow down, if you really look, you'll see she's leaving the door open. Not a physical door, an emotional one. She's giving you space to respond, to mirror her hesitation, to say, even with silence, "I don't want this to be over either." Sometimes she'll give you an extra smile that's a little softer than usual. Sometimes she'll brush past your arm like it's an accident, but it's not. Sometimes she'll say, "Talk soon," in a tone that feels more like a question than a statement. A question she hopes you'll answer by holding eye contact for a second longer, or stepping in just a little closer. Because what she really wants to know is, was I just a moment to you, or could I be something more? And she won't ask it with words. She'll ask it with timing, with stillness, with a quiet goodbye that doesn't really feel like one. If you feel that moment, if you feel her waiting, stalling, silently hoping, don't rush it. You don't have to say something perfect. You don't have to make a big move. You just have to acknowledge it. Be present. Let her know in your own way that you felt it too. Because goodbyes don't always mean goodbye. Sometimes they're the most vulnerable part of the entire connection. Sometimes they're not endings, they're openings. A soft, silent request. Please tell me this meant something to you too. And the longer she lingers, the more she delays her steps, the deeper that message becomes. So if you see that in her, if you feel it, don't walk away too quickly. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stay. Now you know. Attraction isn't always loud. It doesn't always walk in with flashing lights, fireworks, or the kind of confidence you see in movies. Most of the time it shows up softly, not in what she says, but in what she doesn't. It's not in the words she speaks, but in the glances she steals, in the way she lingers, in the way she changes, just slightly, when you enter the room. It lives in the little moments most men rush past. The pause before she says goodbye, the smile that lasts just a beat longer than the joke deserved, the way she brushes her hair back when you're nearby, or applies lip balm even though her lips didn't need it. It's in her silence, not because she has nothing to say, but because something about you makes her nervous in the best way. Most men miss it. They're searching for something bigger. They want obvious signals, bold words, direct confessions, dramatic gestures. But real attraction, it doesn't announce itself. It invites you to notice it. And many don't. They're too focused on the performance, saying the right thing, making the right impression, trying to earn what was already being freely given in the quiet. They don't trust the feeling. They don't slow down long enough to see what's already happening right in front of them. But you're not like most men, not anymore, because now you understand something deeper. You know that attraction isn't always loud. It's in the energy, the shift in the air, the tension in her voice, the spark that passes between you when no one else is paying attention. You've seen the signs. You've read the moments between the lines. You've started to realize that she doesn't have to say she's interested, because she's already showing you. And if you saw even one of these signs in someone recently, don't ignore it. Don't second guess it. Don't brush it off and tell yourself, it was nothing. It wasn't nothing. It was everything. It was her giving you a quiet window into her feelings, hoping you'd notice, hoping you'd do what most never do. Pay attention. So what do you do now? You don't chase. You don't rush. You don't try to manipulate the outcome. You observe. You honor the space. You show up, present, steady, and aware. Because the most magnetic man in the room isn't the one who talks the most. He's the one who watches closely, who feels deeply, and who moves with intention. The one who doesn't need validation to know his worth, but sees value in the smallest gestures and responds to them with quiet strength. Let her feel that. Let her feel you, your presence, your calmness, your ability to notice the details no one else sees. That's rare. That's powerful. That's unforgettable. And if this opened something in you, if it made you think of a moment you once overlooked, or a woman who lingered a little longer, or a goodbye that didn't quite feel like the end, then let it mean something. Let it wake something up inside you, not to chase, but to understand, to respond, to see. Like this video, share it with someone who keeps missing what's right in front of them. Subscribe the Stoic Journals if you're ready to stop living distracted and start seeing clearly. Because here's the truth. She won't always say what she feels. She won't always tell you she's drawn to you, but she will always show it. If you're really paying attention, now you are, now you know.